So one of the best ways to visualize the overall concept I'm trying to get across when we're talking about metaphysics, God causing things, God controlling things, his relationship to the things he's created, is to visualize two lines running in parallel. On top you have a dotted line, okay? And each of the dots represents a moment of time. So the dotted line is creation. It's moment by moment by moment. You could understand it as causes and effects, one cause and effect to the next. However you want to understand that dotted line, it is creation unfolding. Underlying that dotted line is a solid line of God's sustaining power. And so the point is that it is God's power which gives existence to the dots above it. It is God's power which connects the dots above it. There's a difference between the horizontal relationship of one dot to the next dot and a vertical relationship of God to all the dots. There's a difference in that relationship, right? And it's not that causes and effects don't exist. The dots exist. We aren't pantheists, right? God is not the things he created. They are separate from him. However, the point is that none of them would exist, continue to exist, or be functioning the way that they're functioning apart from the power of God, which gives relationship to and meaning to the functioning of those things. So that is the primary point I'm trying to get across, is understand the difference between the horizontal relationship in time of when I do something, I'm causing something. That's technically true. You can view me as a cause and something else as an effect, and you can start looking at dots in relationship to one another in creation and say, well, if that hadn't happened, this would have happened, or if that would have happened, this wouldn't have happened, and we do that all the time, and it's not that that is not a valid thing to talk about. But when you're going to zoom out and understand what is God's relationship to all those things, God is not one of the dots. God does not fly in out of nowhere every once in a while to start meddling around in the dots. God is always working in keeping the dots in existence. He is always working out the way the dots are connected and interacting, and that is the primary point I'm trying to get across here. Hey, there's only two options. Either God is always exerting power over everything he's created, he is always in control of everything he's created, or you can take a semi-deistic view where God created all things, sure, but ever since then he chooses when or when not to be in control. He chooses when or when not to exert power, and this is precisely where free will comes flying in. Because in order to hold to free will, you have to adopt a form of deism and say that you, with your free will, are a self-sustained entity. You can give God all the credit you want. You could say he's the one that made you like that, but you're still disconnecting yourself from God. Metaphysically, you are no longer a dot in that dotted line being upheld by the power of God. You are your own solid line of power, now creating and causing your own little dots. This is heresy, guys. This is not biblical. You don't find this concept even hinted at. Instead, the Bible teaches just the opposite. The three verses I've quoted completely exclude any form of deism. God upholds the universe by the word of his power. In him we live and move and have our being. All things consist. These verses are always true, and free will is never true. We'll see you guys next time, and remember to stay consistent, my friends.